Good morning and welcome to the Pathway Day 2020. I'm now sharing my PowerPoint with you and hope that you can see it. Thank you very much for inviting me to contribute to this digital version of the class of 2020 Pathway Day. Looking back over the 4 years, it was great to meet you during your orientation 4 years ago. I think of the breakfast we had together on the first day, very early in the morning. I think about going on a bus to the Wright Museum and getting to know you. It was a privilege to have been one of your instructors during your early years of dental education. A lot of fun to have some of you in the Pathway elective class because everybody was interested in what we were talking about, and an absolute pleasure to work with some of you as your Pathway project mentor. Now, I'm at the dental school since 1990, 30 years. And when I prepared for this, I looked in my CV and found that I had mentored 263 dental students, have 87 joint publications with dental students, and lots and lots of presentations in Ann Arbor at the Research Day, at national and international conferences. And I have many happy memories of all the students that I got to know over the year. And I would like to share some of the lessons I learned. Why? Because I hope you will mentor the next generations of dentists and dental hygienists throughout your professional life and beyond in retirement, and pay it forward. We need you as mentors, and it could make your life even more worthwhile living if you become a mentor. The first lesson that I learned after I started 30 years ago with Oma Watson, who is now an oral surgeon in Virginia with a happy family and 2 kids, and remembering that first student that I mentored, it's clear that I looked at mentoring at that time in a very undifferentiated way. I didn't have many experiences of what to do. Now, 30 years later, I see very clearly that there are stages in a mentoring relationship. There's a kind of initiating a relationship, a forming stage. There's a stage where you kind of grow the relationship and kind of storm with each other how this will go and norm what's expected. And then there is a stage where the performance happens and where all the work really comes along. And today, on the Pathway Day, we are at the separation or redefinition stage of our relationship. How do mentees find us? Now, I'm not a dentist in the dental school, and so I'm a survey researcher. I try to learn more about the world, like this painter here does, by painting a picture of what's outside the window. And that's what I do with my surveys. And sometimes I wonder why the ones want to work with me. And I find that they might find me because they hear about what we do when we talk about it, and others talk about their experiences with us. When Randon Campbell did his research project, I was absolutely amazed that he found that high school students in 3 different high schools in Detroit all knew very, very, very little about dentistry as a career, dentistry as a profession, dental hygiene as a profession. And so this makes me think that we need you who are going out now and start your professional life to spread the word in your community. So the first lesson learned was that not all conversations have to end in a mentoring relationship. People, students, high school students, middle school students, your patients in the chair, might ask you about what it is to be a dentist. But not all of these started conversations end in a mentoring relationship. Optimally, we give information to people who approach us, we answer their questions, and we help figure out if this type of research in my case as a mentor and the type of profession in your case as a mentor is really for them. If we are also somebody they feel comfortably with as a mentor. If not, very often I point them towards one of my colleagues and say, if you are really interested in that, it might be much better to work with Nisha de Silva, who is a wonderful mentor, or with Kiki Marty, who is a wonderful mentor. And I try to help them find somebody that they can work with. Now, how about that second stage, the start of your research experience? I often think that the students who are so brave to initiate a conversation about research with me and dentistry with you feel like they are in the middle of an ocean. They are not sure about the exact topic they would like to study, nor have any idea, if they never did research before, how to do it. And so we go into a storming and norming phase. And over the years, I realized that students have two kind of underlying things going on. On one hand, I sense that there is a fear of doing the wrong kind of topic. Is it the right topic for me? Is it the right profession for me? This fear of being not kind of achieving what they want to do, this fear of invalidity is there. And what I try to do with the students, show them a way to get from the middle of the ocean to one specific island that they want to be on, to one specific subtopic that really interests them and that they are enthusiastic, putting all the effort in to learn more about. The second thing I notice in students that start in a mentoring relationship is a need for structure, a need to know how exactly can that take place? Can I do it? And I often feel that I help them build a map in their head about the topic that they want to investigate and about the process of doing research. I want to help them with this cognitive map in their mind to kind of figure out what is it really that I want to do and how the heck do I go from here to finishing a pathway project. The lesson I learned about this is above all that each of my over 200 mentees was different. They are all individuals. They are all extremely interesting. And it's interesting to find out why they want to do research and why they would be interested in dentistry in your case. And how they differ in the degree to which they are afraid they kind of don't know what to do and they need structure. And to learn from them, to listen to them and to learn from them what they need and kind of tailor it towards each of the mentees. And then comes the stage of performing, and all these terms are a little bit from the group dynamics area. And so now we are from the middle of the ocean where only this one hand sticks out of the water onto a specific island, and we love this island and we see that it is interesting. And we start to work on collecting information about this topic in the literature from respondents, with surveys, with focus groups. And we learn how to analyze the information, and the information will help us to kind of say, this is what's going on, we want to share the results. Sharing with the results in the minimalistic approach of a pathway student is to write an end report. But usually it's much more exciting when the results are shared at research day, at a national conference, at an international conference, when they are written up and the student receives the first publication and is extremely proud to see their name in print and share it with their families. And then some students move on to the next island. That can be to go a little bit deeper in the research, or moving on to residency and doing research in residency. Or some of the students had a good experience, hopefully, and they go home and they are dentists, but for the rest of their life, they will have the sense that they know how research is done. The lesson learned is that it is okay that not every mentee follows through to the end. So far, I had only one mentee that gave up on me halfway through. The 260 some others made it somehow to the end. It's okay that not every mentee wanted to present at a conference. Also, pretty much most of them presented their research at a conference. You saw that about a third of them wrote a publication together with me. And some of them that I'm very enthusiastic about even became faculty members. And I watched very carefully how they come along in their career. And one of them is now even an associate dean at a dental school. And I'm extremely proud and think back with pleasure of Brad Henson's work with me on an article about xerostomia-related quality of life. Not everybody you talk about as a mentee will become about dentistry, will become a dentist, but everybody will learn a little more about what it means to be a dentist and what dentistry is all about. Today's the day, the official end of our mentoring relationship, the Pathway Day. For most of my students, that's a time of separation. They might touch base with me when they need a letter of recommendation, or when we run into each other at a national conference, we can catch up about their lives. But for some students, Pathway Day is the time where they want to complete the unfinished project, where they want to write their paper. And I hope that each one of you in the class of 2020 who has not finished that and is interested will approach me, and I would love to publish your work with you. You have some wonderful data that would really benefit us all if they would get published. For a few, it's a redefinition. They go into the University of Michigan graduate programs, and perhaps one or two of them have me on their committee then, or do their next research with me. And some of you go on and become colleagues. And I look at the students I was mentoring, and I see that some of you, two of you, I have high hopes that in the long run, you will become a part-time or a full-time colleague with us. The lesson learned is that mentees learn about themselves when they do research, and they have to move on. I put Erik Erikson's Stages of Psychosocial Development here because I want to point out that right now as young adults, you have formed your identity. You are not confused about who you are. You know who you are. You know your professional identity, and you are going to go out, and Erikson would say that in the next step, you have to make sure that you get into a kind of private situation, intimacy versus isolation, having a family, having significant others in your life, and going on after that. And that is definitely where you really can be the best part of mentors. Comes the stage in your life where you decide between generativity in your life, giving back to others, making the world a better place, or getting stuck in just what you would do. And in that generativity versus stagnation phase, I hope that mentoring becomes part of your picture. I also have learned that the process of mentoring has to be fun. It shouldn't be a burden that we hate to turn our attention to. And seeing our mentees succeed is tremendously rewarding. Every time I see one of my mentees get an article published, I am exceptionally proud of you. I feel that this will be something that goes with you through the rest of your life and makes you feel good about yourself. In summary, mentoring relationships go through stages. Some start and never move on. I hope most of them make it through the storming and norming and to the performing phase. And not all conversations, therefore, have to end up in a mentoring relationship. Mentees are individuals, not two are alike. I find it fascinating to get to know you and learn about how you look at dentistry, how you look at your life, what you want to achieve in the future. It is okay that not every mentee follows through to the end and publishes or becomes a dentist. But mentees and mentors have to move on and learn from every relationship and continue the journey of being mentors. I think the two most important mentor characteristics are to never forget to respect our mentees and to really accept the responsibility and do our best to do what mentors should do, to guide mentees on a journey and help them to succeed. The most important mentee characteristics is that you are interested in what you do. It couldn't be more painful to do a research project you are not interested in, to have passion for the topic you're studying, and to be willing in your very busy, very stressful dental student life to put the effort in and to follow through with your mentee relationship, with your research project, and when you mentor somebody to follow through with exploring if dentistry is for you. What is the best outcome for the mentee? Well, on one hand, it could be pragmatically that it helps you reach to get into a residency. Some international students do research with me because then their attorney, when they apply for being a permanent resident, can say that they are engaged in something that goes beyond what others do. It can even become your career. I think the personal development is what I treasure more when I see it in mentees. I see my mentees grow from the first time they come in and they are insecure. And then when I see them present at a conference and I see how confident they are to talk about their topic, how much they know, then I really feel that this personal development is one of the absolute top outcomes for the mentee. It can give you a new goal, a possible self that they can focus on and the motivation to pursue it. What are the benefits for mentors? Why do I hope that you will become mentors in your career, going out of here in your professional lives and beyond? You learn a lot from mentees about a part of the world that you don't know about. I have my own part of the world that I see, but every time I talk with a new mentee, it opens a little window in a different part of the world that I'm not familiar with. I enjoy to see the mentors develop and am extremely proud about my mentees' achievements. And if you mentor a student who was your patient early on and then goes on and shadows you and goes out to dental school and comes back to your community, I cannot imagine how proud you must feel about that. They make a difference in the world, mentors, one mentee at a time. You will graduate, and as a dentist, you will make a difference every single day in the lives of your patients and your community. But you can also make a difference as a mentor in the lives of your staff members, like Taft, our first dean, who brought a woman into dentistry, a staff member that became a dentist and grew out of being a staff member into becoming a professional dentist on her own. You can be a mentor in the lives of children and adolescents who are your patients, or when you reach out to the community and talk about dentistry, from learning from you about being a dentist. And I hope if you do it, you will get as much joy out of it as I had. I started this presentation with a picture of Magritte with a little picture of the outside the window landscape. And I want to end it with looking at all the pictures here that I think I collected over my life when I worked with students on their research. I love this picture. It's in a shelf in my office in the dental school. And I hope when you look back in your life, you will see that there's also a lot of different windows to the outside world that you created for yourself when you mentored. Congratulations to each one of you, and a heartfelt wish for you. May you remember the best you had in the dental school. Forget the worst and benefit every day of your life from what you learned. Pass it forward. Feel free to contact me anytime. Here's my email, and this is how the dental school looked when you started, and come back and see how the dental school will look in the years to come. Join us at an adjunct or as a full-time faculty member. Come to our CE courses, come to our alumni meeting. We love to see you and stay in touch. All the best.